Imagine watching a World Cup match and seeing a player sent off, not for a dangerous tackle, not for violent conduct, and not for stopping a goal-scoring chance. Instead, he receives a straight red card because he covered his mouth while speaking. It sounds unbelievable, but that's exactly what happened at the 2026 FIFA World Cup. In a moment that shocked millions of football fans around the world, Paraguay's Miguel Almirón became the first player in football history to receive a red card under FIFA's newly introduced mouth-covering regulation. The incident instantly sparked controversy, debate, and questions about the future of football. The historic moment occurred during the Group D clash between Turkey and Paraguay. Like most World Cup matches, the atmosphere was intense. Every challenge mattered, every decision carried weight, and both teams were fighting for a result that could influence their tournament journey. Players battled for possession, emotions were running high, and tensions gradually increased as the first half approached its conclusion. Then came the incident that would make headlines around the world. A disputed situation on the field led to a confrontation between players. During the exchange, cameras captured Paraguay midfielder Miguel Almirón speaking while covering his mouth with his hand. At first, nobody seemed to think much of it. Football players have been doing this for years. Fans, commentators, and even opponents are accustomed to seeing players cover their mouths during conversations on the pitch.
However, this time things were different. The video assistant referee, better known as VAR, alerted referee Yvonne Barton and recommended a review. As Barton walked toward the pitchside monitor, confusion spread throughout the stadium. Spectators wondered what exactly was being checked. There had been no dangerous challenge, no obvious act of violence, and no major off-the-ball incident that anyone had noticed. After carefully reviewing the footage, Barton returned to the field and made a decision that stunned everyone watching. He reached into his pocket and produced a red card for Miguel Almirón. The stadium fell into shock. Players protested, commentators searched for answers, and social media immediately exploded with reactions. The reason was simple but unprecedented. Under a new FIFA World Cup 2026 regulation, referees now have the authority to punish players who attempt to conceal their words by covering their mouths during confrontational situations. Because Almirón was seen covering his mouth while speaking during an on-field confrontation, officials determined that the new rule had been violated. As a result, he became the first player ever dismissed under this regulation.
To understand why FIFA introduced such a rule, it is important to look at a growing issue within modern football. Over recent years, football authorities have faced increasing pressure to address abusive language, discriminatory comments, racist remarks, and other forms of unsporting behavior during matches. While modern stadiums are equipped with countless cameras capable of capturing nearly every movement on the field, verbal exchanges often remain hidden from public view. Players frequently cover their mouths when speaking, making it difficult for television cameras, investigators, and lip-reading experts to determine exactly what is being said. Football's governing bodies began viewing this practice as a potential obstacle to transparency and accountability. Officials argued that if discriminatory or abusive language was being used during matches, players should not be able to hide behind gestures designed to conceal their words. Discussions involving FIFA, referees, lawmakers, and the International Football Association Board eventually led to the creation of the new regulation. The objective was not simply to punish players for covering their mouths. Instead, FIFA's broader goal was to discourage behavior that could potentially hide offensive, discriminatory, or abusive comments from officials and investigators. Supporters of the rule believe it represents an important step toward creating a more respectful and transparent football environment. However, the regulation quickly became one of the most controversial talking points of the tournament.
Critics argued that a red card may be too severe a punishment. After all, being sent off is one of the harshest penalties in football. A red card not only affects the current match, but can also lead to suspensions in future games. Some observers questioned whether covering one's mouth should automatically result in such a serious consequence. Others worried that players could be punished for a habit they had practiced throughout their careers without malicious intent. Supporters, on the other hand, defended FIFA's decision. They pointed out that football has struggled for years with incidents involving racism, discrimination, and verbal abuse. According to this view, removing opportunities for players to hide potentially offensive remarks is a necessary step toward improving behavior on the field. If players know they cannot conceal their words, they may become more careful about what they say during emotional moments. The incident also highlighted how much football has changed in the modern era. Years ago, referees relied almost entirely on what they could see in real time. Today, technology plays a major role in decision-making. High-definition cameras, multiple viewing angles, slow-motion replays, and VAR systems allow officials to examine incidents in extraordinary detail. Actions that might have gone unnoticed in previous generations can now be reviewed from every possible angle. The Almirón dismissal demonstrated how modern technology continues to shape the way football rules are enforced. For players, this represents a new reality. Footballers must constantly adapt to changing regulations and interpretations. Every season introduces new guidelines, and behaviors once considered harmless may eventually become punishable. The ability to adjust quickly is becoming just as important as technical skill or tactical awareness.
The immediate impact on the match was significant. Paraguay was reduced to 10 men, forcing the team to reorganize its tactics and manage the remainder of the game with a numerical disadvantage. Analysts immediately began debating whether the dismissal influenced the outcome of the contest. Yet beyond the match itself, many observers recognized the broader significance of the moment. Football historians saw it as the beginning of a new chapter in the sport. Just as the introduction of VAR transformed refereeing, this incident may represent the start of a new era focused on greater behavioral accountability. Public reaction was deeply divided. Some fans praised FIFA for taking strong action against potential misconduct. Others criticized what they viewed as excessive regulation. Journalists, former players, coaches, and analysts all joined the debate, offering different perspectives on whether the rule would benefit football in the long run. For FIFA, the Almirón incident serves as an important test case. New regulations can only be fully evaluated once they are applied in real competition. The organization will undoubtedly monitor future incidents closely to determine whether the rule achieves its intended objectives. One thing is already clear. Referees, players, and coaches around the world are paying attention. Teams are likely reviewing the incident carefully, ensuring that players understand the potential consequences of similar actions in future matches. History has shown that major changes in football are often controversial at first. Goal line technology, VAR, and changes to offside interpretations all generated intense debate when they were introduced. Over time, many of those innovations became accepted parts of the game. Whether this new regulation follows the same path remains to be seen. What cannot be disputed is that Miguel Almirón's name is now permanently linked to a unique moment in football history. Regardless of individual opinions,